And now, welcome TV personality, host of RuPaul's Drag Race, and friend of SAGE, Ross Mathews.
Wow, everyone who's come up here said it. You all look great. You really do. You do. So my friend RuPaul would say, Shantae, you stay. And I'm just going to say what you're all thinking. I look great too. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for noticing. I don't want to brag, but I just completed my very first marathon. It was a Golden Girls marathon on the Hallmark Channel, and I finished the whole thing. The trick is you stay hydrated, so I had an entire box of White Zinfandel. Any Golden Girls fans here? Super fans? Yeah. So you know. I've learned many important life lessons from watching every single episode of the Golden Girls back to back. Very important things like cheesecake fixes everything. Sequin shoulder pads look good on everyone. We see a few of those here tonight. And most importantly, our elders are fabulous, and they deserve to be respected, loved, and appreciated every single day of the year. Which is why I'm also a super fan of the extraordinary organization that is SAGE. SAGE, let's hear it for the amazing work they do. It's why we're all here tonight, and you may be asking yourself, how do I become a super fan of SAGE too? Well, you've all taken the first step by being in this room tonight, and the next steps are totally up to you. You can volunteer with SAGE. Do we have some of our friendly visitors or SAGE Connect friends here tonight? Make some noise. Yeah. Hi, I see you. Hi, look, they're over there. Cute. I'm gonna come hug you in a minute. You can take part in hundreds of activities and groups at SAGE Center. And let's do a quick roll call of all of our SAGers from Harlem. Make some noise for Harlem. What about Brooklyn? Where's Brooklyn? What about our SAGes from the Bronx? What about Chelsea? Any SAGers from Florida? They're all in Speedos suntanning right now. They couldn't be here. Of course, you can support all of their amazing work with a donation, which is why we're here tonight, to keep up the extraordinary work that SAGE does. I really am in awe whenever I get an email alerting me about the different programs at SAGE and updates on their fierce advocacy for our community. And most of all, I'm grateful whenever I get the chance to connect with our next speaker. I was actually introduced to him by my husband, Congressman George Santos, who is here. No, that's my bad. My bad, no. My handsome husband, Wellington Garcia Mathews, who is here tonight. Hi, Wellington. We like to come to these kind of events together. You know, we're very Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift that way. But I'm the Taylor, because, hi, me, I'm the problem, it's me, right? Shake it off. All right, so, but I am so thrilled to introduce a man who, in addition to just being the best and a really good human being, also inspires me to think about the impact we can all have today. All of us, each and every single one of us, we can have an impact on our brave LGBTQIA+ pioneers and how we can all create a better future together. He embodies all that SAGE stands for. So superfans, it's time to engage. Please welcome in giving a warm welcome, not me, you already did that, thanks. Giving a warm welcome to SAGE's Chief Executive Officer and our friend, the incredible Michael Adams.
Okay, hi Ellen. It is wonderful to see so many of you here tonight to celebrate and support our community's LGBTQ+ elders and to honor this year's extraordinary group of awardees. And tonight, with the launch of a new public service award, as Speaker Adams has already told us, we also remember SAGE's beloved longtime lobbyist John Wright, who died far too young earlier this year. There are so many people in this beautiful hall tonight, but I want to start by giving a huge shout out to the people who make SAGE's work possible. Our amazing board of directors, our staff, and our volunteers. Please, I'd ask our board members, our staff, and our volunteers, if you're able, please stand. Please give them a huge round of applause. Yes. They deserve it. They deserve it. Now, we're gathering here tonight during difficult times as we witness not only terrible political attacks against our LGBTQ+ community members, and especially our trans friends and loved ones in many parts of this country, but also as we watch in horror the brutal slayings of so many innocents overseas who fight for a safe and a welcoming place they can call home. So in pondering what I would share with you tonight about SAGE's work and how to make sense of our moment, I found myself thinking over and over about Jerry Calbus, SAGE's oldest constituent here in New York City. Yes, some of you know Jerry. SAGE's oldest constituent here in New York City, who died last July at the ripe old age of 105. Now, why, in the midst of all of the many causes that vie for our attention, do we dedicate ourselves to the essential cause of our LGBTQ+ elders? I think the answer is bound up in Jerry's story. Jerry was born in 1918 to a first-generation family of Russian Jews who struggled as recent immigrants. She grew up in the Bronx, poor, in a household racked by alcoholism and violence. Defying gender stereotypes from a young age, Jerry gave up her birth name of Emma early on. She wore boys' clothes to school at a time when doing so was downright life-threatening. Jerry, who regularly faced harassment, dropped out of school early. She started working in a factory and joined a movement of American Jews who wanted to start a farm community in Alaska. But the outbreak of World War II and the fight against Hitler changed everything for Jerry. She became a welder in the defense industry. She was one of the original Rosie the Riveters. She fought to be the first woman her union would accept as a full journeyman, and she won, getting paid the same as her male co-workers at a time when that was unheard of. After the war, when soldiers returned and displaced women working in the factories, Jerry started her own metal workshop and later used her metalworking to make jewelry and art. In 1977, she attended the founding meeting of SAGE and was a steadfast volunteer for our organization for decades. By then, Jerry had become a cause celeb, especially for younger lesbians, who worked to archive her oral history and to learn from her experiences. After a fierce and storied life, at the age of 100, Jerry was finally forced to give up living on her own, and she moved to a nursing home. I wish I could say that Jerry's last years were golden, but in fact she struggled. Accustomed to being fiercely independent, Jerry was afraid to be out as a lesbian at the nursing home. Very reluctantly, she returned to her birth name of Emma because she was afraid of being mistreated. Learning of this, I visited Jerry to ask what we could do to make the last years of her life better. And Jerry told me that she was deeply lonely, that she desperately missed her SAGE community. So over the next year, the young SAGE volunteers who surrounded Jerry with so much love arranged for her to come back to the Edie Windsor SAGE Center repeatedly to be with her people, and Jerry's spirit came roaring back. When Jerry finally passed last summer, shortly after she celebrated her 105th birthday with a lively party at SAGE, she left this world not as Emma, but proudly as Jerry, the fierce butch lesbian she had embraced her entire life. I share Jerry's story with you tonight because I think it says so much about why we honor and support our community's elders here in this hall and throughout the year. It's not just because honoring our elders is a truism, something that sounds like a nice thing to do. It's because, like Jerry, the millions of LGBTQ+ elders living all across this country are our strong and resilient pioneers. They broke ground that many thought was impossible to break. They built lives of meaning, lives as proud people through the most difficult of times. And in doing so, they built the community, the movement, the rights that we all benefit from today. They imparted their wisdom, their experience, their example to the generations that followed, so that we could keep building a better, a more welcoming, and a more just world for each and every one of us. Our elders built so much of what we enjoy today. They deserve to be treated and supported as heroes as they age. But yet far too many of our community's elders are not growing old as heroes, and they're not getting the support they deserve. Instead, far too many are growing old alone, isolated, without the support they need to age with dignity. Far too many are aging in poverty. Far too many are not getting the services and care that they need, but they instead face neglect and discrimination. Far too many are subjected not just to homophobia and transphobia, but also to racism and to other biases as LGBTQ+ elders of color, as immigrant elders, as elders in rural areas. And perhaps most painfully, far too many have been forgotten by the very community that they fought so hard to build. And SAGE exists to change all of that. All of that. And with your support, we are. Over the last 5 years, more than 5,000 LGBTQ+ elders here in New York City have benefited from SAGE's many programs. Hundreds of thousands of LGBTQ+ older people across the country benefit directly from SAGE's training, community education, and policy advocacy. And now, thanks to SAGE's growing international program, LGBTQ+ elders from as far away as Costa Rica and Brazil and Malaysia and the Philippines are benefiting from our efforts as well. But now back here in New York City, where SAGE got its start, SAGE continues to build on the legacy that elders like Jerry Calbus and so many others got started. 5 years ago, SAGE and our partner Help USA broke ground on a beautiful new affordable housing development for our elders in the Bronx, the very borough where Jerry grew up. And one of the SAGE elders who joined us that day was Marie Spivey, who was with us here tonight. Marie recounts that she didn't come out until her late 50s, and at first, she felt isolated and depressed. But then Marie found SAGE. Looking back on it later, Marie said that in SAGE, and I quote, "I found my people, I found my family, I found a purpose." Just 2 weeks ago, I returned to the Bronx for the unveiling of a stunning community mural at SAGE Center Bronx. Located at the Crotona Pride residences that Help and SAGE built. There was a big crowd, many of them proud residents of our new housing development, and many of them participants at the center. And from that large and enthusiastic group, one of the faces that sticks out most in my mind is Marie's. As she hugged me and beamed her beautiful smile, and if you know Marie, you know how beautiful it is, from ear to ear. Celebrating with Marie and with so many others in the Bronx that day, I realized what SAGE's work all comes down to. In many ways, in many different ways, with all of our different programs and initiatives, we're building warm, welcoming, proud places that so many of our community's elders can call home. Places where Marie and so many others can be with their people, with our people. Jerry would be so proud. She'd be so proud. So this is the work that we're doing together to honor and support our community's LGBTQ+ elders. In a deeply troubled time, in a deeply troubled world, SAGE's work is a beacon, a fitting tribute to our elders who have given us so much. Together, we are building a world where each and every one of us can age with the dignity and support that we need and deserve. And for everything you have done, and for everything that you will do to support SAGE's noble cause, to support our community's elders, tonight I say thank you. Thank you.